Hello and welcome to Eastern Horizon. This is Malika Yubsumbul, and you are watching Eastern Horizon live streaming. The telephone call between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Donald Trump have become the international headline, where both the leaders have differences over the decision to strike again on Iran. So, how these differences become the headline, and what would be next? Because being a partner in crime, Israel and the US have a strong nexus. So how these things will be unfolded, and we will also talk about the Samud flotilla, the detention of the activists by Israel, and there is an international condemnation. I have joined by our very pleased Dr. Mustafa Al Barghouthi from Ramallah. He is the member of the Palestinian Legislative Council. Thank you very much, Dr. Mustafa.
Thank you. Nice to be with you.
My player. So, how you see this telephone call, and especially the American media, and then it is followed by by all the international media, that they have some differences on Iran. So, how you see mean that what caused these differences? That Netanyahu is going to push Donald Trump for strike again on Iran.
He is trying with every possible way to push Trump to attack again because Israel has only one agenda, which is wars, more attacks, more aggression. But we have to be careful here because both sides are joining the same approach of aggression. I mean, both of them initiated this aggression on Iran, which led to disastrous results to many Gulf countries. And this was motivated to a large extent by Netanyahu and his fascist government. Now, the difference is about the timing. Uh, Trump wants to delay the attack, trying to get something diplomatically, and Netanyahu wants to attack immediately. The main reason why there are differences is that Trump has to calculate more carefully because of the economic impact of this war, which has cost the American economy a lot. And the American citizens themselves feel the effect of this war in their pockets, which will affect the popularity of Trump, which is declining. And second, he has to take care of the protests of his allies in the region, specifically the Gulf countries that have suffered dramatically because of this war, that they themselves had no role in initiating, but they are paying a very high price. Also, there is a third factor, which is that the United States failed really to protect these countries when the war broke out. So these are the considerations that Trump has, and Netanyahu doesn't care about them. So I think this difference between the two sides is temporary. We have to remember that the supplies of American weapons that are flying to Israel are so intensive and so large and continuous, which means what we could see in the coming maybe 1 week is only a delay. But the possibility of the reactivation of the attack is still there.
Hmm. So there are also news that after the consultation with GCC member countries, especially Saudi Arabia, due to the Hajj pilgrimage, Donald Trump has postponed this decision because he was, according to his statements and the rhetoric, he was about to strike again. So, mean that will this be a reason that the Hajj pilgrimage and but still, I think that the Hajj flights it takes maybe several weeks the people to reach on their destinations.
The Hajj will be over on the 28th of this month, within a week. The Hajj is a factor, but not a major factor. There are other factors because the four countries that are pressuring Trump not to attack are Saudi Arabia first, but that includes also Qatar, Emirates, and probably Oman and other countries. These countries know they will suffer a lot if the war broke out again. This will affect their production of oil and gas and their ability to sell their products, but also it will affect largely their GDP and their income. So they are not interested in reactivation of the war. There is a third factor, which is that what will this reactivation of the war achieve? Basically, Trump deep down knows very well that he failed because he didn't break Iran. And Iran is steadfast. And even if there are new attacks, they will not achieve the main goal that was there behind this whole attack, which is bringing down the regime. This was the main goal, although now Trump denies it. But the truth is that he and Israel thought that through several military attacks within days, the regime will come down. All their calculations have failed drastically, and mainly because of the unity of the Iranian people, who put aside their differences, as it is clear, and they are defending their future as a country, as a nation, especially after the dangerous statements of by Trump and Netanyahu that they are planning to eliminate the civilization of the Iranian civilization. I think this broke the patience in the spirit of every Iranian. So we'll see what happens. But basically, one of the main factors why Trump is procrastinating is he still hopes he can reach a deal which will make him avoid more losses in the United States and more losses in terms of any possible political achievement. One major factor I want to alert you to is the internal differences in the Republican Party, even within the camp of Trump himself and the MAGA group. We've seen many candidates for Congress and Senate declaring clearly that Trump did not fulfill his promise to avoid wars and long wars. So I think this is also a factor that is affecting the decision making.
So the resistance against Israel is increasing in Lebanon, northern Lebanon, and all the other region. So, in case of any action of striking Iran again by Israel and by the US, so how you think that the regional repercussion and the implications, especially when the resistance is increasing? So, what you see the future of the region, especially if there is any strike on Iran, how alarming it is?
Very alarming. More strikes means more resistance in Lebanon. Anyhow, the Israeli army is failing in South Lebanon. They are unable to achieve their goals. They didn't expect the quality and quantity of this resistance. And yesterday, a major general in the Israeli army was injured seriously because the Hezbollah is finding new methods of fighting, which the Israelis are not prepared for. But in principle, I said that from the beginning, that Israel is making a fatal mistake again by occupying South Lebanon for the third time. Each time they do it, they eventually end up having to leave because of resistance. And that's why I think they are failing too there. But the other thing that might happen is more strong reaction in Iraq and from Iraqi resistance groups, and definitely from Yemen. So, but this can flare up the whole region. And most importantly, many regimes in the region, especially regimes like the Bahraini one, are under terrible pressure from their own population, which do not agree with this kind of war. So there can be serious internal changes in some countries if this continues.
So you also mentioned Bahrain. I understand what exactly you want to say, because the uprising against the current government can be raised there, and even in Iraq. So which kind of the resistance, especially in Iraq, can rise in if we can narrow down and see especially the situation in Iraq. So which kind of the resistance can be faced, and especially another question is this: that if this resistance in Lebanon is increasing, what would be the reaction inside Israel?
Well, Israel is shaken now by many factors. One factor is that economically, although it sounds like very strong, there are many reports that Israel is paying very high price for these wars, which benefit only Netanyahu. And the Israeli economy will suffer. They've lost already a whole season of tourism. They've lost they have very serious decline in the IT technology and IT economy. They are suffering now seriously from uh, deficit in the number of soldiers that can go and fight in Lebanon because of the issue of reserved groups and who wants to serve and who doesn't want to serve, and the problem with the religious parties. And don't forget that Israel is about to have elections. Now Netanyahu cannot postpone elections anymore beyond October. So, and this is one part of his calculations. But the big issue for Israel is very simple. Israel does not tolerate economic losses, does not tolerate human losses, and of course, it's suffering from moral losses, which have become so big and so great. So these are the three factors that will affect them in Lebanon. On the side of the moral losses, they already lost the fight and they admit it. But now they could have serious economic impact of what they are doing. And most importantly, the ability of Hezbollah to cause human losses is very serious for Israelis. You have to understand that Israeli and American societies, which are societies of wealth and uh, cannot afford human losses. This is it's a serious difference, by the way, between developing countries and countries that are very wealthy. Here, the loss of human beings is very embarrassing and very serious. You remember that why did the United States stop fighting in Vietnam? Not because of moral reasons. I mean, they didn't care about the Vietnamese. The main cause was that 56,000 American soldiers died. And every young American started to think he could be killed in Vietnam. This was the main factor. So if they start to have bigger losses, whether in Israel or the United States, their calculations will be different.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. So, I mean that let's come to the smooth flotilla, because I think that Israel has the detention of the activist who reached to Palestine, and there is a very strong reaction coming from the international community. Italy and Poland also summoned the Israeli ambassadors and condemned. So, how you see Israel action towards these activists, and why Israel feared when the activists moved towards Palestine?
Because Israel doesn't want to allow any form of solidarity with the people of Palestine, because Israel doesn't want to stop the terrible siege on Gaza, which is creating a very deep humanitarian crisis. And they know that the flotilla has become a major organizing power of solidarity with Palestine, and it is transforming already into a huge movement of boycott, divestment, sanctions against Israel. So the flotilla provided a form of international protection to the Palestinian people. We could not bring in international solidarity groups as we did before in the second intifada. Israel is not allowing that. So people are trying to come in ships, even if they don't reach Gaza, they create the effect. I was personally on one of the first ships of the first flotilla in 2009. And four times we managed to reach Gaza. And after that, Israel destroyed every boat that tried to get in. And now what they've done is the series of crimes. The first crime is attacking ships in international waters, which is a violation of international law. What they did is also an act of piracy by attacking the ships in international waters and then kidnapping the activists that were boarding these ships. Third, they used horrible violence and oppression against civilians, against human rights civilian activists, who all they wanted is to bring in humanitarian support. So by doing the three things, Israel violated the international law. But what exposed them really was the fact that this fascist minister, Ben Gvir, the minister of internal security, took footage and videos of him humiliating and oppressing and suppressing the solidarity activists who were kidnapped. That really created a big impact everywhere when people saw the videos, because it showed the level of fascism in Israel. And of course, Netanyahu tried to cover up what's going on by saying he doesn't agree. What does doesn't agree mean? It means nothing. If he really was against this action, he wasn't, by the way, against the action. He was against showing it on videos to the world. So for him, the crime is okay. The problem is showing it. But if he was really against such a crime, he would have dismissed this minister immediately, which he never did. But the other thing is that this video has shown to the world the real suffering of Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails, the Palestinian hostages that Israel is keeping, who are even subjected to much bigger torture and much bigger humiliation. So I think what has happened has created very serious reaction worldwide and exposed Israel, but most importantly, it exposed the fascist nature of this Israeli government. The question is, will Western governments and other countries protect their citizens or not? Condemnation, calling the ambassadors and protesting is not enough. For these countries, if they want really to protect the dignity of their own citizens, they have to impose sanctions on Israel. They have to impose boycott and sanctions immediately.
So the GCC members are a very strong ally of the United States, and they pour billions and billions of. I mean that when Trump come, we saw they have like every GCC member was trying to beat the other member countries in terms of more especially say the billions to the US. So in the current situation, if this retaliation and the tension increase in the region, so what would be the response of the GCC members countries towards the US?
We already see the response. I mean, it's not clear. It's not openly clear. Let's say it's not declared openly, but we actions is to protecting Israel and not these countries. Third, they are now realizing that being totally dependent on American weapons and American military is not sufficient. That's why you see intentions from many of these countries to diversify their defense abilities. And I think many of them will move a lot in the direction of China. And in addition to all of that, I think these countries are thinking more carefully now about not being in a solo alliance with one country. I think there is a lot of talk now among these countries about creating their own internal security arrangement, maybe in cooperation with other Arab countries. The biggest risk they took, especially some countries like the Emirates, was to create alliance with Israel. And now they are affected. I mean, look, most recently there was a scandal when Netanyahu declared that he visited the Emirates, and the Emirates declared that this is not true. But you see, this shows the nature of the Israelis, which we have warned them about many times. We know the Israelis more than anybody else. The Israeli government and the Israeli establishment doesn't care about anybody. At the end, when they have a little interest, even for elections or for certain political or personal gain, they wouldn't care about the interest of other countries. And that's why I think the biggest mistake or the biggest lesson is that this whole thing about Abraham Accords or agreements proved to be total failure. They claimed that the normalization with Israel will bring in peace to the region. What did it bring? Wars, not peace.
Mhm. So, do you think that in the next couple of days after the Hajj will end, there might be some sort of the action by Israel and the US against Iran, or the US just Donald Trump will announce the victory and try to get some face saving on this?
Both possibilities are there. And it's a matter of calculation and the amount of pressure that is exercised on Trump externally and internally. But he is not in good situation. He knows he's going to face elections also in November, and most probably he will lose definitely the Congress, and probably he could lose the Senate. This will make him will put him in very difficult situation. So that's why I think they are calculating, and but both options remain on the table, and people have to be alert to that.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Dr. Mustafa Barghouthi. I really appreciate your insight. We will conclude this broadcast here, and I would ask our viewers that they should share us, follow us, and like Eastern Horizon. We are trying to give a new, a look, a new version, and a new, that the picture of the conflicts in the Middle East and overall any developing news and beyond the headlines. We are trying to give a new perspective. Thank you very much for watching Eastern Horizon, and stay in touch.